Welcome back, VST here, Valens Tech. Very obvious, I think, the Galaxy S22 Ultra running the latest One UI 5 Beta 3. I know there's gonna be some questions, so yes, Exynos 2200. Here, I do have the very recognizable, I think that's very obvious, Pixel 6. You might be asking, what is the goal of this video, guys? And I'll try to explain this now in the next 15 seconds. Google released the final Android 13, and of course Google are always the first, and some of the other brands like Samsung started to slowly embrace it. Actually, we already received 3 updates of the One UI 5 Beta 3. That's not yet the final thing. Most probably it's going to be like another beta at least, or who knows, right? But I'm doing this video as a baseline to just compare the One UI 5 Beta 3, okay, the disclaimer here is there's still a better product, to the Android 13 animation. And the reason for this, if you have been watching my channel lately, you know that I am really putting a lot of emphasis on animation. Why? Well, this is really the feeling that you are getting by using your phone. If the animations are okay, then you have a feeling that your phone behaves nicely and etc. No stutters, no lag, you're happy. But if the animations are stuttery and if there are some lags there, then of course there is some great disappointment involved into this. So right now I want to just test the basic animations that we have inside the One UI 5 Beta 3, still Android 13 guys, and Android 13 Bye. I have enabled the always on display on my Pixel 6 and also on my S22 Ultra. And I do believe that we can start. Again, guys, the idea really is to show you all the basic animations from tapping on the lock screen, going inside the home screen, navigation, quick settings menu, of course, apps, opening, closing animations, and etc. So we really have a baseline to compare and just see, okay, what are Samsung doing, what are Google doing, and then when the final One UI 5 product is released, I will have to repeat this video and then we can come later and see, hey, did they change something from the previous baseline that we had or not? Let the testing begin. Now, one tap on the Pixel will give me directly access to the lock screen. Here on the Samsung, I need to do a double tap. All right, and this is the animation. Okay, you can now see we still have the same information. Okay, screen will dim and they will enter back to the always on display mode, and which is pretty much like a real always on display, not what the iPhones get, but that's a whole other topic. So one more time, let's try to compare it, guys. Okay, see? And this is why I was saying in my yesterday's video how complex the Samsung animations are. So if you didn't really watch the video that I released yesterday explaining motions, gestures, and animation, and then the complexity, just reading it out loud from a Samsung developer's guide, then please check this video there. Right, let me just do this one more time. Okay, double tap here. Okay, pretty much the same information, though of course the animation that we have here more immersive, I would say more interactive than what you have here. Although Pixel just flawless, no lag, no stutter whatsoever, right? And this is now how we enter inside the home screen. So let me just show you. Okay, I'm now in my home screen. Let me now try to do this with my S22 Ultra. Boom. Here we are. So I would say it's pretty much about the same, though what I do like on the Pixel, you can just see, guys, when I'm entering my home screen, it's just quicker, okay? In Samsung, everything for some reason, and I do believe that's really on purpose, everything by design is a little bit slower. And Samsung, they have a whole philosophy on their own, how the animations should look like. They have different motions and different types, very much well explained in my video yesterday. Don't forget to check it here. Now we're on the main screen, guys. So the first thing I'm going to do some home screen navigation, going to the left where I can access my Google Now feed. So yep, simple as that. Okay, I would say it's about smooth on both phones. Okay, so now let me just go outside in the home screen. Okay, one more time, going inside the Google Discover, and I'm now trying to go outside. Okay, here one more time, and it's pretty much the same animation. Going to the right to just try to explore the home screen, pretty much feels the same. Next thing I'll try is just keep holding here, all right, so that we have access to the home screen settings, wallpaper install, the menu, the widgets. So this is the default Android 13 implementation from Google. This is really what Google decided to do, and honestly yes, if I have to say which is better or worse, which is not the intent of this video, I will not do this. I'll just say I like this better. You know what? Because it's just so straightforward, guys, and you can just have very quick access to your wallpapers. Here, you have to do one more tap, okay? So one more time so that we can compare the animation. All right, see? And somehow, again, the Pixel is just really quicker at things like this. All right, enough is enough. Now let me just scroll down to try to access my notifications at the quick settings. So one scroll from here, okay, we'll unravel all the notifications. Now guys, that's a bit weird. This video again is intended to focus on animations, but I need to touch base a bit on the design. So I'll do one more scroll and then we access the quick settings. And this is already boring. This is the old style that we know from One UI for so many years now. This is the new Android 13 style. They have these very big buttons and etc. There of course benefits, pros and cons. So here you can have like, I'm sure, like 10 buttons on the screen and you can use Quick Start Good Lock module to really modify this. Here is more or less like the iPhone style. You just get this and yeah, if you're not happy, sorry. Honestly, I am just thinking that this looks cool and yeah, I'm really used to that as well. In terms of animations, pretty much the same, but see here guys, right? See here, when this box with the notification just pops up, there is this kind of like a bouncing effect, so pay attention. Another feature that I like very much, see here what happens when I move down like this, the brightness bar just gets extended. You know, like see here, there is this liveliness. It's very live, it's very interactive, very fluid. The one here, you know, is just disappears. And you, of course, have the option to also put it above. But yeah, see, I mean, this is the animation from Samsung. And guys, see here, this is the one that we are getting from the Pixel 6. I would tend to agree with myself that this kind of is the better animation here because it's a bit more live and more fluid. Let's try to play with the quick toggles. I'm going to turn off Do Not Disturb on both phones, all right? Okay, one more time. If we try to do this with some of the other icons, you're going to see that they are animated here on the One UI 5, for example, the blue dot not. But if we go to the airplane mode, you're going to just see like an airplane taking off, taking on, etc. But on the Pixel, yeah, pretty much animated in terms of color change. So that's it. You would not really get anything fancy here. Let's check slider animations. On the Pixel, every time I try to touch a slider, there is this black outline, which is not so good. On the Samsung, what I do like is when you go to the max levels, guys, it becomes slowly red, which is actually a good indication that you're about to burn your screen and also your eyes, because that's a hell of a screen. Yeah, so different implementations here in the animations for brightness and for sliders. Now let's check some toggles, guys. For that, we're gonna go inside the settings menu. Now, let's try to turn on and off the airplane. So here, standard toggle implementation. Here, by the way, you see on the Pixel, every time I do select something, I get a very nice outline. See here on the same line, which I kind of like. This highlight is nice. On the Samsung, yeah, it's a bit more straightforward. Although I would say the toggle implementation is pretty much about the same because again, it's Android 13 design language, but still there are some differences. Now let's try also to search. See what happens when we press search. If I press search here, boom, that's what we get. Here again, it's a bit more simplified. On the Samsung, you have this popping up animation. On the Pixel 6, yeah, you just have this highlight going away and you just enter the settings. Again, on the Samsung, it comes with a bit more whistles than to what we have in the Pixel 6. Let's do also a search from the up drawer. So when we click here on the Samsung, we're gonna get this. Some nice suggestions, application, settings, and etc. On the Pixel, you get this. It's very clean, very efficient, very simple, but there are no fancy animations. Of course, it's really quicker because every time you do this on the Samsung, you just have to wait a bit until everything pops up. Of course, there are some options, right? You can try to configure. There are some preferences on both phones, you know, settings, what you want to have there or what not. Then again, it's a bit different the way it's implemented on the Samsung versus in the Pixel. Let's see context menu popping up on an application. I'm gonna hold the finger on Telegram, boom. Here I have some contacts, I have the option to ping them. The Pixel, the animation is very nice, very fluid, guys, one more time. And on the Samsung, it's a bit different. It just pops up with the default One UI design, standard language, right? But I do like on the Samsung, when you select the icon will start moving around, bouncing, see here. And this is not found on the Pixel. Let me just try to do this as well on Twitter. So I'm gonna hold Twitter here. See, I have some names here, and then the icon is dancing, and I'm gonna do the same here, pretty much the same, right? But icon is not moving around. Let's try to rename a folder. So clicking folder, all right, I'm gonna click on social here, very standard, click on social there, and then it's going to be the same, although here we have the blinking cursor, so you're going to know really where you are positioned. Again, those are really some very, very small changes, guys, but they are there and I wanted to show them to you. Now let's see what happens when we try to access the notifications. So I will just hit here, okay? They pretty much use and follow the same design language. It's Android 13, right? So of course that Samsung had to implement something that came from Google in terms of guidelines. So in terms of notifications, I would say they kind of collapse the same way. And yeah, we have these big icons here. Now that's a bit weird, guys. This is Android 13 and the icons here are not so big. This is definitely the option that I do prefer because it's very easy for you to see, you know, which application is which. In this case here, yeah, still using the small icons, but everything else, I guess, is very comparable. Now it's time to check the up doors animation. All right, nothing something. I'm gonna do this one more time, guys, so that you really can have a full grip on this. When I'm doing this type of animation on the Pixel, it has this dancing effect. On the One UI 5, it's very static, very flat. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this one more time on the Pixel. All right, see, bouncy effect, no bouncy effect. Else, the up navigation is a bit different. Here it's just this big infinite vertical list. Here you have a horizontal scroll, but both animations are pretty much the same. Also, when I'm inside, guys, see, when I try to go up, I have this, again, dancing and bouncing animation. You don't really have this on the One UI, but just to be 100% sure, guys, I am gonna go right now into the settings menu. Settings menu, Android 13, One UI 5. So let me just scroll down to the very bottom. Okay, I was wrong. We have here this bouncing animation, okay? And also when you go to the top, see the icon bounce, and also here, by the way, the menus. I do like a bit this style. On the Pixel, it all looks like, you know, everything mixed up together, and on Samsung One UI 5, we just have these different outlines here for connections, for the modes, for the display, and the security. So that's probably something better suited to my taste. Now it's time to check the recents menu. Okay, it's pretty much the same animation. Okay, I'm gonna go and exit right now. One more time, recents menu. They all come from the left. I would say they pretty much have somehow standard animation. And let's see what happens when we just scroll down to the icons. That's the standard view here. I think the center icon stands out a bit. On the Pixel, they're all flat, and when we go to the very left side, there is this animation on the One UI. When you go on the Pixel, there is also an animation, but it's a smaller one. Okay, so not so different after all. Now I think it's time to close everything, okay? Here, see? Also, guys, the Pixel introduced some fancy animations, but when we come down to the apps opening, apps closing, and etc., I'm gonna see that the One UI animation seems to be a bit more complex. I really like them very much, but the problem there is with the stutter and with the lag. Now let's click on the volume rocker. All right, on the Samsung, we're gonna get access to all the volume levels. Let's do the same here. See what Samsung implemented, guys. Really looks better. It's unified. It screams the same design. This really looks outdated and absolutely not coherent with the whole UI design we have from the Pixel. But enough about the home screen. Now it's time to play with some apps. And the first thing I'm gonna do, let's check the folder animation opening on both devices. All right. See what I mean, guys, here? The Pixel is very snappy, right? Everything feels really very smooth. But when I open the folder, guys, the background stays the same. There are no effects. When I open my folder, we get this very nice blur on the Samsung Galaxy One UI. This is what I'm referring to when I'm saying that the Samsung animation are really complex, and you can again check my video there. I tried to explain this, and you can also check the guides from Samsung developers. They really have very strict guidelines on how the animation should look like, just to, like Samsung say, please the user, right? And see, this one, of course, is quicker, right? So there is an option for you to go inside development settings to reduce the animations, but I don't want to do this. There is also the option here to play with animation duration scale, so you can pretty much make your Samsung look like a Pixel, but that's not the goal of this video. I just want to compare the standard stock animation. So, okay, this is the folder opening. Now let's try to open some applications. I'll start with Telegram. All right, see? And now, guys, this is the opening. Now I'm gonna minimize it, okay? One more time, open the folder, open Telegram. All right, now minimizing, yeah, pretty much looks the same. Let's now check the home screen rotation on the Samsung. We all know that the phone supports it. All right, pretty much nice, flawless animation. Let's check this on the Pixel, also supported. All right, up and running. Yep, one more time. Okay, so we are at the end of this video, and I really hope that you have enjoyed it as much as I did enjoy it while shooting it and editing it. And if that's the case, don't hesitate but subscribe for my channel, guys. Please, you and your family stay safe until we meet in one of my next videos. And with that said, VST over and bye.